The next Battlefield game should be Vietnam. Recently, Season 4 of Battlefield 2042 came out, and that's seen me going back to the game and playing it a bit. And I'll say this, I do enjoy the game and I have fun playing it, but it feels very uninspired and lifeless. Sort of like that pillow you hold at night because you're single and you make YouTube videos and stream on Twitch on the weekends and when you're not at work. Wait, what? So anyway, I don't hate the game as many people do. I find it to be an enjoyable Battlefield title, with Season 4 and the return of classes really bringing the game into full stride. And I'm having a lot of fun playing it. All that being said, though, the game does have this fake, unauthentic feel to it, almost like ChatGPT made the game. EA said, ChatGPT, create a game set in the near future based around weather disasters and soldiers with wingsuits. ChatGPT said, Battlefield Advanced Warfare, coming right up. EA was like, nah, that sounds like too much like Advanced Warfare, we'll call it 2042, and boom, they released the game, just like that. No edits, nothing, they just put it right to market. Not even bothering to remember that it's an AI and it can't make a game properly. Come to think of it, that probably explains all the issues it had on launch. Battlefield 1 was my introduction to the series. I remember first seeing the trailer they revealed at E3 with the Seven Nation Army song playing in the background, and it legitimately was the coolest game I had ever seen. Battlefield 1 went on to be arguably one of the best titles in the series and one of the highest selling. It was a game made from love and passion for the story the developers wanted to tell. It was gritty and it was a brutal showcase of the horrors of trench warfare that was praised by historians for its accuracy to the actual conflict of World War I. This game in every aspect shows how hard the developers worked and how much they cared about the environments they were creating. I spent countless hours grinding Battlefield 1 with my friend at the time. It never got old. Throw on Conquest, and for the next 8 hours, I was locked in on the front lines, doing my best, hurling over the wall. It was awesome, and I absolutely loved it. Battlefield 5 came out in a difficult period of my life, and I wasn't playing a whole lot of video games at the time. Other games such as Black Ops 4 also fell victim to this period of less time spent behind my screen. Although in hindsight, I probably should have spent more time playing games and less time outside. I know Battlefield 5 is a somewhat mixed received game within the Battlefield community, so I want to spend a good amount of time playing it before I speak on it too much. I know there's still a somewhat active player base, so I'll definitely be checking that out at some point. So make sure you go check out the Twitch, twitch.tv/wildbigskies. I'll be streaming all the gameplay, and make sure to sub on YouTube so you don't miss the review when that drops. I say all this to say at the time I was very excited for the next Battlefield title. But like most everyone that played Battlefield 2042 when it launched, I was pretty disappointed in what we got. To be honest, I wasn't even that excited for the game after seeing the trailer, but I had hoped maybe it would grow on me, and maybe the trailer was just, I don't know, I didn't take it the right way or something. I hope we got a good game, but we didn't really. The game has grown on me with a lot of time and a lot of hours. I'm just really starting to enjoy playing it, like I said at the beginning of the video, and we're like over a year after it came out. That's not good. Now, it's already been circulating around the internet that DICE and EA are pretty aware of the fact that people don't like 2042, and it wasn't received well. They removed the whole class system just to change it back to the previous way classes were done after massive fan outrage. This is like pee your pants in front of your class when you're in 6th grade level of embarrassing. Like, they went back on their innovation because it was so terrible. To their credit, they have admitted some of the mistakes they made with 2042 and have assured fans that they are dedicated to the Battlefield series with multiple projects under the way. However, the investor meetings that happened a couple months back revealed that the mobile title was shelved at the end of 2022 after beta tests were done in November, with a statement from EA stating, quote, "We decided to pivot from the current direction to best deliver our vision for the franchise and meet the expectations of players," end quote. I was pretty happy about this news. I'm not a big mobile gaming guy, and I was glad that EA is no longer spending time and developer resources on something I personally wasn't interested in at all. What I am interested in is the next Battlefield title, because this game, I believe, will either revive or kill the franchise. There's no in between. This game has to hit like a Battlefield 1, a Battlefield 3, or a Battlefield Bad Company 2. Titans of the franchise, and I truly believe if this game is not on that level, it may be the death of Battlefield. According to Industry Insider, Tom Henderson, the next game could release as soon as 2024. However, I kind of worry this could be the single-player focused game they announced several years back. I think it's interesting that they are delisting both Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2 off of Microsoft's digital store. It makes you wonder if maybe a remaster, remake, or even Bad Company 3 is potentially on the way. Maybe that's the single-player focused game they announced a couple years back. If, however, it is like a normal Battlefield game, not being so heavy on narrative and more focused on the traditional Battlefield sandbox, I would love for Battlefield to go back to the Vietnam era. 2024 will see 20 years since the original Battlefield Vietnam was released on Windows, a follow-up to the very successful Battlefield 1942. The franchise has not revisited Vietnam outside of community-made mods since this game. I understand that this can be a really controversial conflict, but all I'm really going to say about that is we're talking about a video game set in a time period that happened over 50 years ago. I think we can go back to the rice paddies, guys. World War II has been done over and over and over in gaming, and so has the modern period of warfare, with Battlefield having loads of games using the near future / modern time frame. Here are all the Battlefield games and the eras they are set in. World War I titles, Battlefield 1. World War II titles, 1942, Battlefield 5. Cold War titles, Battlefield Vietnam. Near future / modern titles, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Bad Company 1, Bad Company 2, and Battlefield Hardline, if you count that game. And the futuristic titles include 2142 and 2042. The only two eras that only have one game is World War I era and the Cold War era. And I think Battlefield 1 kind of covered all there is to cover in World War I. So, we need another Cold War game. When doing research for this video, I saw some rumors online that the next game will be another Modern Time title, and I really hope this isn't the case. As we can see by the list I just read off, there are 6 out of 12, so half of the entire franchise has used the modern to near future setting as the backdrop for their games, with only 4 historically set Battlefield games in the mix. I think it's time for another Battlefield 1-like trailer, set in the jungles of Vietnam, announcing the next historical title, with icing on the cake being a non-live service game and going back to the paid DLC packs that we saw in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. Imagine the hype. It's been 20 years. That's how long I've been alive. It's time for a remake, a sequel, or a remaster of the original Vietnam. I would stream this game till my print was permanently embedded in my gaming chair. Mark my words, and if this does end up being the title, I will stand by this statement, assuming it's released in a better state than 2042. The Vietnam War provides the perfect opportunity to recreate the level of realism and recognition of the realities of war that Battlefield 1 provided. Something I loved about Battlefield 1 was, yes, the game was amazing and a blast to play, just a very well-made video game. But at least for myself, and I'm not going to speak for others, but for myself, it definitely left me with that appreciation for the men who fought in that war. It left an impression of horror and sympathy for those who had to experience those environments for real. It's hard to get the same respect and appreciation for warfare and veterans and what they go through when you're wingsuiting through a plastic-looking environment and shooting at robots. You know, I hope that kind of makes sense. Let me know what you want to see for the next Battlefield title below, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. This is your boy Wild Big Skies, and I'm out.